Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Moment of Presence. Today is August 7th, 2025. We are in the energy of the Lionsgate portal, 8888.
Does it start today?
Well, the energy is. It's already 88 in some places in the world. Ah. So we are in the energy of not just the Lionsgate, but also the full moon. So, yes, I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching. And yes, I love talking about all things uh, metaphysical, just magical, law of attraction. Um, my real passion is helping clients get past their emotions, managing them, and helping them manage their emotions instead. Have a good relationship with all of the inner voices inside so that you can be a nice, cohesive family and get along. Yes, there'll be bumps in the roads, but at least you'll know how to handle it. So that is what I like to do. And I am joined today, with, as always, with of
By
from by
Christopher Roan, ops wizard and CRM
Guru.
strategist, and lifelong spiritual learner, trauma survivor, all sorts of. I should start saying that trauma survivor. Stop tapping your desk; it's very loud. I couldn't hear myself think.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it comes through very loud because I think it echoes on the base of your mic, and so it's very loud. At least on my computer, maybe
I was tapping the ball of the mouse.
Yeah.
That's how everything is so connected.
Well, I mean that makes sense. I feel like this. Can you hear when I do this?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Okay.
Anywho,
I'll keep my hands in my lap. I'll try. Anywho.
Today we're talking about a topic that Michelle is particularly excited for: shadow work secrets to break free from your 9-to-5 cage.
And yeah, when you think of shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think of?
Crying. I'm so serious though, like when I think of shadow work, because for me crying is such a point, like it's such a way for me to like release pent up trauma, memories, shadows. So for me, anytime I do shadow work, I cry, but I consider crying a positive thing. So for me, that's a good thing. It's helping me release those things that I need to release.
I love that. I love that, and also, it doesn't have to be so much crying. There's going to be potentially some crying, but again, it is a release. A lot of people hear shadow work. I know that it's, in some circles, it's like the, ooh, that's so cool. And it's like the in word. And then other times, it scares the heck out of people. I almost said a bad word. It scares the heck out of people. I know it did for me when I first started with shadow work. I'll never forget that. I literally was scared to death. And the point of that is there was nothing really to be scared of. Think of when you were a kid and you stood on the sidewalk and you saw your shadow. Were you scared of your shadow, or was it just your shadow? Because the light and you and it created a shadow. Was it something to be afraid of? It's just another aspect of you. That's it. It's just another aspect of you.
Let's just briefly, what is there typically like to be afraid of when it comes to shadow work? I mean, one thing that was big for me was years ago before I started my healing journey. It was very much of like, well, if I start diving into this, I'm not going to come out of it. If I start touching on this, it's going to take over my life, and I'm not going to be able to crawl my way out of the depressive hole that it puts me in. And like you just said, the irony is it actually does the opposite. You just have to step into it and honestly ideally have someone to guide you through it.
Right. Well, and I think that's the big part is to do it easily without the fear
Easily, yeah.
of getting stuck in it, which you're not going to get stuck in it. um I kind of want to go to that, like, when you're supposed to walk on fire, when you're like determined and you have an intention and you just do it, like
Hmm.
you're pepped up, you're like, yeah, I'm going, and you just run over the coals, you don't feel the heat. So if something comes up for you and you're hearing that shadow voice of, what is let's go to this real quick. What do shadows typically say? What are shadows, right? The shadow aspects of ourselves are those voices in our head. They're like, you're not good enough for this. Or
I don't even think it's that. I don't. Yes, it can be, but I think more often than not, the ones that really get us are the ones that are very, very, very sly,
mhm.
and you don't even necessarily realize it. So
Mhm.
that would be something like, yeah, I don't know about that,
Yeah,
or
it's probably not a good idea.
or well, maybe if I do this though, then that person will come around and I'll get this out of it, and maybe it'll work out in the end if I just do this one thing, even though I don't really want to. Maybe if I just do this one thing, it'll change everything.
If I stick around long enough, the situation will fix itself on its own.
You know what? I don't even need to be thinking about that promotion right now. I've got other stuff going on.
Mhm.
There's other people who probably need it more than me. I don't need it. I'm good where I am. Everything is fine. That I'm fine where I am.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm home with the kids. My husband's doing the work. I'm good. Stay at home mom. I don't have to do any of this stuff. I feel good with what I'm doing, and my time will come. My time will come.
And you know what's interesting, just hearing you say that, is it's really about the undertone that goes with that, because if you had just said that line with, "Oh my god, my husband works, I stay home with the kids, we hang out all day, we play, we do all these things. I'm having so much fun. I love taking care of my house and my home, and I love that he is willing to take on the brunt of that stress so that I can stay home and raise our kids." Very different energies. Ultimately the same message, very different things.
Absolutely. And you know what's so interesting is, my husband and I were, your father and I were at the functional medicine doctor the other day. And what was so interesting is there was this very nice gentleman there, and he had this adorable baby. And he said, yeah, I'm babysitting today. And my husband, your father, before I could say it, said, when it's your baby, you're not babysitting. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
What a
Because
dream.
and the guy didn't say it like, "Ugh, I'm
Yeah.
babysitting today." Like, he was, you could tell, like he
Yeah.
is a proud papa. He is so happy, like so awesome, such a nice guy. Um, but it is that, like you said, it is that tone, and it's also how you frame it
Mhm.
that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
You can say like, um, I really want that promotion. I know I don't have the skills, but I'm going to sign up for that class, or that one thing that I'm missing, whatever. I'm going to get myself to that point where I'm going to have everything I need to get what I want, because now you're motivated. It's coming from a place of momentum versus like,
I'm gonna do you one better. Why do you even have to bring up that you're missing skills? I
well,
really want that promotion. I'm gonna make sure that I do everything I need to do to make sure I'd be successful at it. I have the transferable skills I need. Maybe I could take a couple trainings just to have the actual, book knowledge that's
yeah,
typically looked up upon with that role.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. These are the stories that we tell ourselves that keep us in this cage. And so, part of what I wanted to talk about today is these three things. One, naming the cage. Two, what is the cage doing? What is it? What's that story that you're telling yourself, that you have the key to your cage, but you've locked yourself in, and you're not going to let yourself out? Well, how do you let yourself out?
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to talk about. And then what is an action step that you can take on your own to do that? So I don't want anyone to think like you're going to go on a full shadow journey after today's conversation. This is just like a little intro
Like dipping your toe
into,
into the ocean.
yeah, just like learning a little bit of what shadow work is and to not be afraid. Because again, Peter Pan saw his shadow. We dance with our shadow. Our shadow talks to us every second of every day. It's right there with us. And when you have a good relationship with yourself, with your shadow, you'll understand that it's actually there to help you and prevent you from getting hurt, making a wrong decision. But you, your heart, your mind, logically, have more knowledge than your shadow does, because your
Yeah.
shadow is functioning from that darker place of fear and the past, where your heart is functioning from right now. And so that's the shift that we have to make. And sometimes we have to remind our shadow we're in control, the shadow is not,
Hmm.
and to learn its place in our life. So that is a little bit about shadow work. Do you have a story a short story about conquering a little shadow that you've had, that's a little pesky? And please share in the comment, one, if you've ever heard of shadow work. Two, what do you think your biggest shadow says to you? And ask questions. That's what we're here for. That is the whole purpose of Moment of Presence, is for us to be here to help you on your journey.
I don't really have a story that overly comes to mind. Do you?
Yeah, I can think of uh a year ago. Well, I can think of a lot of different things actually. Um
Now she does a lot of shadow work.
yeah. So, let's talk about degrees, because a
Who?
lot of degrees, getting your degree, like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
so I am the first one in my family to have a degree. Krista carried on that tradition. We actually
Like a year or two later.
Not even. I think it was like 6 months. I was determined I was going to get mine before you did, but we basically started just about the same time, which is so funny. Uh, but in my family, that just wasn't something that was like overly important. Like, yeah, my mom wanted me to do it, and she thought it was very, very important. But to me, I wanted to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom. There were times that I didn't feel as worthy or valuable to be in certain situations because I didn't have a degree. I didn't have the clout, right? I didn't have knowledge. I didn't go to college.
Hmm.
And so there were times where I would pull away from friends that were coming back and celebrating getting their degree. Um, and I wouldn't, I wasn't looking for a job back then. I was raising my children. That's all I ever wanted to do, was be a stay at home mom. And then when I went to the corporate world and I got my role there, um, and then I started climbing the ladder, man, that's addictive, and it's competitive and it's fun, and you get so wrapped up into it. And I found this completely other side of myself that I had definitely like locked away in a cage. That driven person was very locked in a dungeon.
I don't know about that because you did PTA for years and you were pretty.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So maybe
So
PTA unlocked it a bit. But once I got into the kind of executive world where I could see people climbing the ladder, and I was like, oh, I want some of that. How do I do that? Well, then they offered me an opportunity where they were going to pay for my, for me to get my degree so that I could get that promotion. Like, you have the promotion, but you got to finish by this time. And it was like, well, okay. And here it sits. I can stare at my beautiful degree. And what's
Hold
funny,
on. I literally, this past weekend was sitting in my room and saw my degree tucked on my bookshelf, and I literally thought to myself, isn't that so funny how, like, when I first got these, I hung them on my wall, and now they're just like collecting dust on a bookshelf. Like, they really. Anyway, go ahead. That's so crazy that you're bringing this up right now.
and so a lot of people will not move forward or not feel like they're good enough because they don't have that piece of paper. And in reality, they have 10 years of experience that you don't get in college, university, what have you, on that journey to the degree. I'm not saying there one is better than the other. I'm just saying don't discount yourself and dim yourself because you don't have a piece of paper. You have your life experience, and that matters. It's the degree of hard knocks, and it matters a lot because it's more functional as far as I'm concerned. Have I used a lot of what was of the classes that I took for my degree? Groupthink, I think, is like my biggest thing that I took from like the 4 years was
Honestly,
groupthink.
I heard a great joke one time that kind of sums it up. Even just like in the effort that you put forth in college, um, what's the difference between a doctor who got all A's through college and a doctor that got C's through college?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. They're both doctors now, and they both probably work in the same hospital. And actually, the doctor who got C's realistically is probably a better doctor and has better patient bedside manner than
Yep.
the doctor who got all A's.
Yep, absolutely. I would agree with that. I
Yeah.
would agree with that. And I remember an executive saying that to me because I was so upset because I had gotten all straight A's.
Mm.
Again, a competitive piece part of me that did not show up in high school, but showed up then. No, in high school, I was more about having fun. Uh, but the executive was like, no one's going to ask you for your
What
grade.
grade you got?
No one cares. Do you
Hey,
have
guess what? When you apply for a job, does anyone ask to verify your college degree? I mean, I don't want to put that out there and have people lie on their on
a
their
judgmental
resumes,
lie? They do check. They can check. They
but do
can.
they? I've
Some
hired quite a few people. I've never checked if someone's degree is legitimate.
interesting. Now
You
we know.
can, but do you? Most people don't.
Well, and I remember somebody looked at my degree and they went, "Oh my God, look, you got what? What did I get?
I
Something
don't remember. Whatever
cum
those
laude."
little insignias. Summa cum laude.
Yeah, I got summa cum laude, and I was like,
What's
"Yeah,
that?
what?" And they're like, "That's like top of your class," and I was like, "Oh, is that what that means?" Like, it never thought to
They
me
just
even.
very slyly humble brag on our show right now.
But I swear, it just shows you like how much I didn't pay attention. Because to me, it was like, okay, check it off because I had to do it for the promotion. And that was the only reason.
Hmm.
What has meant more has been my spiritual journey. That's where I've learned more, and what I'm able to apply every single day
Yeah.
is the spiritual aspect. So the cage, going back to our topic, the cage that I was in was a limiting belief that I was not worthy unless I had this degree, this piece of paper. And the story I told myself was that I wouldn't be able to get through school because I really didn't think I could. And you know that it was, I was dealing with, oh, I can't take math. I don't want to do algebra. And
Oh, another limiting belief, a shadow that you were telling yourself.
but yet in today's world, someone tells me like how many calls they've had, how many sales they make, and I can like go, oh, 25%, like just rolls off my tongue. So these were stories that were holding me back, Not that I regret any of that, but I can, and this is part of what coaching is identifying those shadows, seeing if they're still around, like as loudly, quieting them with the truth, and moving forward. We're not looking at it emotionally and going, I can't believe I wasted so much time, or no regret. We're just identifying, okay, now what was the story we told ourselves? Okay, cool. Are we still telling ourselves that story? Okay, what has to shift? What is the perspective or the tone of, the change that needs to happen in order to move forward into what you actually want? And so that's where the process goes. That's where coaching helps, because it's guiding you forward instead of you getting stuck in, well, oh, I did waste a lot of time. Well, but did you?
Yeah,
Because during that time, I learned so much of other things. So
absolutely.
I don't know if that brought up any ideas for you.
I'm mostly working on all of my shadows still. They go deep, y'all.
And we have we have an inner child, and
Yeah.
we have a couple ways that the inner child can show up, because
Mhm.
sometimes the inner child can have a temper tantrum,
Yeah. You
like
know,
mine
this
did.
conversation is making me think though that I think actually one of my biggest shadows that I have actually been doing pretty well on is I'm an overanalyzer. I always have been. I've always been almost borderline obsessed with what do I need to fix next in myself.
Mm,
And so the last couple of months here, I've been really focused on actually not trying to focus too much on my inner workings because I spent so long doing that that for me the it's ironic because for me the shadow work is not doing shadow work. The shadow work is not hyper analyzing every single thing that I do and say and act whatever. Um, and that in and of itself is a very fine line between yes, that is doing some work on yourself, and B, that being a cop out to not do work on yourself. So it's a very fine line. And so I don't want anyone to hear that and be like, oh, I'm not focusing on myself right now because that's a thing that you can do. Like, no, that's not supposed to be a cop out here. But I do think that that can be a very useful thing to be aware of and pay attention to. Um, and God bless my sister-in-law. She said to me one day, we were talking about something, and she was like, "Are you not exhausted? Like, are you not exhausted that your mind is working like that all day, every day, analyzing yourself like that?" And it was a very big moment for me of like, "Oh wow, I never thought about that. I mean, yeah, I am exhausted. Maybe that's why."
yeah. And here's the thing, some people have automatically done the shadow work, like they just do it. Like, I've always talked to myself, like I've always been in tune with those voices. I've just never necessarily like taken the lead and talked back and taken control the way that I do now. But I've always had a relationship with, you know, the inner thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and under like just understanding that, oh, this is fear.
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm stuck here. And then deciding what I want to do. And I think that's one of the other things about this is so big, is we have choices. Just because we have this big fear, or just because we think that we're, our self-esteem sucks right now, or our confidence has been hit, you've had it before, you can get it back. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Muscle memory is a thing, like it's there. And so it's just about uncovering the gunk that has gotten on top of it, so that way you can let it free again, and be who you want to be.
Yeah.
So it's again having that relationship and feeling safe to have the conversation with yourself, getting curious, not judgmental of. And if you are out there calling yourself stupid, I'm so worthless. I can't do anything. Like, stop it.
Even as a joke.
Even as a joke, your heart does not know the difference. So stop it. If you're saying those things to yourself, if you believe, if you have faith, think of it this way: we're all a part of God, the creator, source, whatever, right? If you're knocking yourself down, who else are you knocking down? Because the creator created you. So if there's something wrong with you and you're like picking at it, I suck. Really? Because I'm pretty sure you're just saying that God sucks. So that's not nice. And I don't think any of us would actually want to do that.
Yeah.
So be mindful of how you speak to yourself. I used to tell the kids, like, hey, don't say that. You're talking about my daughter, or you're talking about my son. Like,
I was just thinking that.
stop it. Like, I no, like, stop it.
Yeah.
Um, and when you think of it that way, it's the same thing with questioning the plan, questioning life. Whatever you're going through, you're okay. You're in the perfect place to figure this out. If you're tuning in, you found us for a reason. So I'm glad you're here. Take some pressure off of yourself. What if there's nothing wrong with you? This is just another step on your journey. Because if we don't identify what we have to work on, what are we doing? What are we going to learn? Nothing. So we have to identify those things. And the only way to identify them is to be self aware, not self judgmental, not self belittling or, undermining ourselves, but listening and going, okay, curious, interesting that that's coming up. I wonder why I'm thinking that. Is that a limiting belief? Is that something I really believe about myself or about the world? Or is this something that I've learned through the years? And am I ready to give that up and maybe think about that differently and pivot my thoughts? Could it be a different way? And so these are the conversations, these are the questions that you can ask. And when you're really quiet, whether it's meditation, you're watching the raindrops fall, I don't care, just have a little conversation, but listen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
All right. So step one, name your cage. What's
Yeah.
preventing you from moving forward? So name. Are you saying literally to just say like this is fear, this is frustration, this is like is that what you're talking about?
Here's the biggest secret of all.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to come down to one of two things: fear or love. You're either fearful of moving forward because of success, being seen, fear of failure, fear of leaving your comfort zone. What if I don't get something even better? Uh, Love meaning, but I love being over here. What if I don't find anything else again?
That's still
So,
fear though. That's not love.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes down to fear. Everything. So that's the secret in the secret is everything comes down to fear. Anything that holds you back comes down to fear. Anything that's going to help you rise up is going to come out of love. So if you're having a conversation with your shadow from a place of love, even if it's stern love, you're doing good. If you're having a fearful conversation, it's not going to work.
But what is the step number one for people? When you say name your cage, what should
Make
they
your
do? 'Cause I
case.
think getting it down to love and fear is a little bit of like um, it's a bit too far
Right.
ahead.
Okay. So, a client wanted to make a decision about moving forward with a class she wanted to take. And as we talked, it was, I'm not sure. I don't know if I should do this or if I should do that. Maybe I'll make a list. I have to think about it. Um, I have other options on the table. And it was okay, but what's really holding you back from moving forward right now? What feels better to you? And it came down to her limiting belief. So the cage for in that situation was a limiting belief. A cage for some people could be the self-doubt, or that I don't have the money? Do you not have the money, or you don't want to invest in yourself because you really don't believe that you're going to complete the process? And that's a big one. You can blame it on the money, but is it really the money's fault? Or
Mhm.
is it that in other situations you didn't finish something, do something, complete something, and you
Something
just
didn't work for you.
and it's going to be wasteful,
Mhm.
and it's just a pattern I'm in. And that's another one.
Mhm.
Oh, well, it just always happens to me. It's just my thing.
It's the way that it is.
Nothing ever works for me. Really? Does nothing ever work for you? Like nothing has ever worked for you? And that's where we get into number 2, is listening to the story, the first inner story, and then rewriting it. Because is that really true, that nothing has ever worked out for you?
Yeah.
The mere fact that you're however old, whether you're 30, 40, 50, the mere fact that you're here means that there's been a lot of good days that have worked for you. You're alive, you're breathing, you're here. So life is working for you. How can you make it better?
Mhm.
And so it's getting to that, really like narrowing it down and working it down, whittle down to the very basic piece of it. And one of the best questions to just ask is, but why? Like a 2-year old, but why? Well, I'm afraid to leave this job, but why? Well, I really like my co-workers, but why? Well, because I'm part of a community. Okay, but why is that so important to you? Well, what if I leave and I don't have a community outside of work? So your identity is now wrapped up in your work. You don't see yourself separate from work, which also happened to me, because think about it. When I left the hospital, that was my identity.
Mhm.
Like I was so wrapped up in that, and I was lost. But guess what? Those that wander are never lost. You're just moving forward into the next thing.
Mhm.
And so it's a journey. It's all a journey. That's why we're here, is to live life and to move through all of this. But if you're going to stay stagnant, whose choice is that? And so that's another cage. I'm not moving up. I'm always passed over for promotion. I No one sees me. They don't see all the good work I do. Maybe if I work harder, maybe if I work 50, 60 hours a week, they'll finally notice. Why are you not speaking up for yourself? One, why are you giving them so much energy when you're not being appreciated? And what is something, and this goes into number 3, what is an action that you can take that will make you feel better and be seen?
Mm.
And so many people are even afraid of that. Like,
Yeah.
well, what do you mean? I have to, like, what? What would that look like? I don't Write an email and say, "Oh my gosh, this was a great week." Right? Write it to your boss. I had such a great week this week. I just wanted to give you a couple updates. Oh my gosh, this happened, and this person did this, and we worked together, and that was one of the best things that I did when I had a boss that loved to see all of the negatives, and she would spin into a room like a tornado, and she would ask you all these questions, have all these expectations. The best thing I ever did was to be proactive and send her my updates on a Friday. So when she came in on Monday, she had the email ready, sitting on her desk
Yeah.
to read. She knew exactly what I had done the week before. It wasn't that I was bragging. I wanted to keep you in the know. This is
Mhm.
what happened. This is what occurred. This is what transpired. And it made such an impact that everybody else that was under her said, "How did you win her over? What are you doing?" And
Yeah.
so then she had me make a template for everyone else to use,
That's
because it
awesome.
works so well.
Mhm.
So it's thinking outside of the box, and doing things that one, make you feel good, but two, that are going to impact your life and move you towards what you actually want, even if it's a small, small step. Your
And
time.
that may look like applying for other jobs. That might look like doing a journaling session. That might look like trying meditation.
Yep.
That might look like, I don't know, a whole lot of different things.
How
The
about I'm
point is
stuck?
forward action.
Right. I'm stuck in a 9 to 5 cage, so I have no time to work out because I have no time. I've got to pick the kids up. I've got to make dinner. I got to do this. I have no time for myself. That's a huge one. Excuses are like, beep, everyone has one. So here's the thing, I just found a whole like workout thing. It's 7 minutes. If you don't have 7 minutes in your day to do something, you repeat like 4 exercises 3 different times. My whole body hurt. I was like, this feels so good because it was that like workout like pain, and it felt so good because I was like, this was 7 minutes. Oh my god, it made
I
this
mean,
much
that's just
impact.
a great example of it doesn't always have to be all or nothing. Start somewhere. That's the point of this, is take one
Exactly.
action. Even if it's not a huge action, just take action. Move forward in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people, going back up to one again, we can work through this all different ways. What's a label? A label can be your cage. Oh my gosh, I'm ADHD. Oh, I'm ADHD. I have a monkey mind. I can't focus. I get nothing done. I can't do it. I can't do it because I have ADHD. I have heard so many people falling back on that. Guess what, people? ADHD is a freaking superpower. Embrace it. Your mind works differently. That's all. Learn how to work with your mind and stop resisting how your mind works. Stop trying to be the way other people are and embrace who you are and how you work. When you can do that and go, hell yeah, I am ADHD. You know what that means? That means that I can do a whole lot of everything. My mind is like, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm getting it all done. We're powerhouses as long as you embrace it and stop using it as an excuse. And so these are and there's lots of methods out there that can help you with ADHD. There's lots of ways. There are many, multiple, wonderful, driven, motivated, highly successful people that are ADHD. So stop using it as an
So she's speaking
excuse.
from experience.
Maybe.
I think that's a great place for us to wrap up today because we've given a lot of great examples, a lot of great scenarios, ways to look at this, different perspectives. So if you're somebody that you find this is a pervasive problem for you, and you'd like a little bit more guidance on how to handle this, how to get through this process, maybe you dipped your toe into shadow work and you'd like to dive a little bit deeper, where do they find you, Michelle?
You can find me at mokshagrace.com and Moksha Grace all over social media. If you feel you don't want to do this alone or you just need a little help, dipping your toe in, getting started, we can do, 4 sessions. We can do one call. We can do 4 sessions. We can do a 3 month journey. It's completely up to you. But I customize the work so that it fits what you need, and I'm not going to ever suggest that you take on more than I think that you need. I'm going to be really honest because not everybody needs the same thing. So it's all different, but book your free compatibility call and we will have a conversation and talk about what it is that you have going on. Definitely, if you feel that somebody that could use what we talked about today, could benefit from hearing what we talked about. We talked about a lot. Uh, Share out this video, like and subscribe. We go live every single week, Thursdays at 12 Eastern. So join us every week. We have great topics and we give away a lot of free information that you can apply. And that's the biggest thing. How about you, Krista?
I'm around. You can find me, Krista Barone, on socials, but most importantly, this is Michelle's show. um, about coaching and spirituality and mindfulness. So if you're interested in learning more about that, go to mokshagrace.com. Ultimately, that's where you can find both of us.
This is very true. And so I think we should close out with one of the techniques that blew your mind last week, and we'll do it again this week. And what we're going to do is just take 3 deep breaths, but we're going to look up so that way we're opening our full airway. And we're just going to take a deep breath in, we're going to hold it, and we're going to slowly exhale. And you can do this anytime you feel like you're hyperventilating, you're having anxiety, or you're just really high energy and need to calm down your nervous system. Sometimes because we need a yawn. Look up again, deep breath, hold it, nice exhale. And one more time. And a nice slow exhale. And the challenge this week is do one thing that you are unsure of or that you wouldn't normally do, whether it's saying no. No is a complete sentence. If you don't want to do something and someone's like, oh, but you really, I want you to come. And you're like, I should go. If you say should, say no. Be nice about it and just, no, thank you for inviting me. I can't this week. And that's it. You don't have to explain yourself, but do something, one thing for yourself, one thing that you've put yourself in that cage, rewrite your story and do it differently. Just one little thing. If you need ideas, put it in the comment. I'll respond right back to you and give you an action step to take. So enjoy tomorrow, 8/8. Lions Portal, write down your intentions, make a manifesto, write a new story for yourself. But definitely positive thoughts, speak positively to yourself, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you then.
All right.
Bye.